For 10 years, a woman in Paris scrubbed floors, hauled water up 6 flights of stairs, and haggled over centimes in the market until her hands cracked and her face went hard. She did it to pay off a single diamond necklace, borrowed for one evening and lost before morning. She paid every franc. It took everything she had and 10 years of her life, and at the end of it, she was an old woman. And then she found out what that necklace had actually been worth. Her name was Mathilde Loisel, and she had been born, as she saw it, into entirely the wrong life. She was pretty, that was the trouble. Pretty and poor, and quite certain that she had been meant for something finer. There was no dowry, no expectations, no way for a girl like her to be introduced to the kind of men who mattered. So she married a junior clerk in the Ministry of Education and moved into a small flat with shabby walls and worn chairs, and suffered. She suffered from the plainness of her rooms. She had a servant girl to do the housework, and the sight of her doing it filled her with despair. She would think of silent antechambers, and silk hangings, and footmen dozing in great armchairs. And then her husband would lift the lid off the soup and say, delightedly, "Ah, a good stew, there's nothing better." And she would want to weep. She had one rich friend from her convent school days, Madame Forestier. She had stopped visiting her. It hurt too much to come home afterwards. And then, one evening in the spring, in the little flat with the shabby walls, her husband came home from the ministry looking very pleased with himself, carrying a large envelope in his hand.
There, something for you. I had a terrible time getting it. They had only a few, and everyone wants one.
The Minister of Education and Madame Georges Ramponneau request the honor of Monsieur and Madame Loisel's company on the evening of the 18th of January. And what do you want me to do with it?
My dear, I thought you'd be pleased. You never go out, and this is an occasion. A real one. Went to a great deal of trouble to get it. Everyone will be there.
And what exactly do you expect me to wear?
Why, the dress you wear to the theater.
I have nothing. Give the card to some colleague of yours whose wife has something decent to put on.
How much would it cost? A proper dress, something you could use again.
400 francs.
Very well. You shall have 400 francs. Make it a beautiful one.
He had 400 francs put by. He had been saving them for a shooting gun, to go out with friends on the plane at Nanterre the following summer. He gave her the money. The dress was made. And then, 4 days before the ball, she was miserable again, and her husband asked her why. She had no jewels, nothing to put at her throat. So the next morning she crossed the city to the fine house of her rich friend, Madame Forestier.
I've come to ask a favor. Nothing at all to wear with it. No jewel, not one stone. I'd rather not go than look poor in that room.
Then choose something, my dear. The case. Take whatever you like.
Bracelets. A pearl cross. Very fine. Have you nothing else?
Look and see. I don't know what will please you.
Oh. Could you lend me this? Only this?
The diamonds? Yes, of course.
You're sure? You don't mind?
Take it, take it. Go and be beautiful.
And she was. On the night of the 18th of January, Madame Loisel was a success. She was the prettiest woman in the room, elegant, laughing, radiant, out of her mind with joy. Every man looked at her. They asked her name. They asked to be introduced. The minister's own staff wanted to dance with her, and the minister himself noticed her. She danced in a cloud of happiness, drunk on all of it, on the compliments and the admiration and the sense, at last, of being exactly where she had always belonged. She left at 4 in the morning. Her husband had been asleep since midnight in an empty little side room with 3 other gentlemen whose wives were also enjoying themselves. He threw her old woolen shawl over her shoulders at the door, the plain, ordinary wrap of her ordinary life, and she hurried away from it so the other women in their furs would not see. They walked a long way before they found a cab, and it carried them home through the cold to their own door, and up the stairs to the little flat. It was over, and she went to the glass to look at herself in her glory one last time before she took it off.
One more moment. Just to see myself in it once more before Zell.
What is it?
I have no necklace. Madame Forestier's necklace. It's gone.
What, it can't be. Gone? Are you certain?
It's not on my throat. It's not in the folds. It's not in the cloak or the pockets.
We had it in the cab. You're sure you had it in the cab?
I felt it on the stairs. I felt it in the street.
Then it's in the street or the cab. I'll walk the whole way back. Every step of it. And Mathilde, write to her. Say the clasp broke and you've sent it for repair. We need time.
He walked the route until 7 in the morning and found nothing. He went to the police. He went to the cab companies. He put a notice in the newspapers and offered a reward. For a week they waited and hoped. And at the end of that week, her husband looked at her and said that they would have to replace it. In a shop in the Palais Royal, they found the necklace's twin. 40,000 francs. The jeweler let them have it for 36. Loisel had 18,000 francs from his father. He borrowed the rest. 1,000 here, 500 there, 3 louis from one man and 5 from another. He signed notes he could not honor. He made ruinous agreements. He dealt with usurers and with every kind of lender there was, and he mortgaged the whole remainder of his life with his signature, not knowing whether he would be able to meet the payments. And then, sick with what was coming, he went and laid 36,000 francs on the jeweler's counter and brought home the new necklace in its case. And when Mathilde returned it, Madame Forestier said, with a touch of coolness, "You should have brought it back sooner. I might have needed it." She did not open the case, which was the one thing that could have saved them. And then Madame Loisel learned what real poverty is. She learned it all at once. They dismissed the servant girl. They gave up the flat and took a garret under the roof. She learned the heavy work of a household, the greasy pots, the crusted pans, her pink nails scoured raw on them. She washed the dirty linen and hung it on a line. She carried the slops down to the street every morning and the water up, 6 flights, stopping at every landing to breathe. Dressed like a working woman, she went to the grocer and the butcher and the fruiterer, with her basket on her arm, haggling, insulted, defending her miserable money centime by centime. Every month there were notes to be paid off, and others renewed and time to be gained. Her husband worked in the evenings, keeping some tradesmen's books, and often, late at night, he copied manuscript at 5 sous a page. And this life lasted 10 years. At the end of 10 years, they had paid back everything, with the interest of the usurers and the accumulated compound interest on top of that. Mathilde Loisel looked old now. She had become the strong, hard, coarse woman of a poor household. Her hair was badly done, her skirts were crooked, her hands were red, and she spoke loudly and washed the floors with great swishes of water. But sometimes, when her husband was at the office, she would sit down by the window and think of that evening, long ago, at the ball, where she had been so beautiful and so admired. And then, one Sunday, having gone for a walk On the Champs-Élysées, to refresh herself after the labors of the week, she saw a woman coming towards her, walking with a child. It was Madame Forestier. Still young, still beautiful, still charming. And Mathilde, who had paid, decided to speak to her.
Good morning, Jeanne.
But I'm sorry, madame. I think you're mistaken.
No, I'm Mathilde Loisel.
Oh, my poor Mathilde. How you've changed.
Yes, I've had some hard days since I last saw you. Very hard days. And a great deal of trouble. And it was because of you.
Because of me? How on earth?
Do you remember the diamond necklace you lent me to wear to the ball at the ministry?
Yes, well?
Well, I lost it.
What do you mean? You brought it back to me.
I brought you back another one, just like it. And we've been paying for it for the last 10 years. You can understand that it wasn't easy for us. We had nothing. But it's over now. And I'm glad of it.
You mean to say you bought a diamond necklace to replace mine?
Yes. You never noticed then. They were very much alike.
Oh, my poor Mathilde. But mine were false. They were worth, at the very most, 500 francs.
Maupassant ends it there. He does not tell us what Mathilde said, or whether the Forestiers offered anything, or what the rest of her life was like. He simply stops, on the pavement, in the sunshine, at the exact moment the 10 years become meaningless. It is worth noticing what actually cost her the decade. It was not the ball, and it was not vanity, and it was not even losing the thing. It was one sentence she could not bring herself to say. On the morning after, "I've lost your necklace and the 10 years she bought instead," to avoid saying it. She was ruined by the version of herself she wanted a rich friend to keep believing in.